Now, when it comes to talking about addressing cancer, this is a very sensitive subject that many, quite frankly, do not want to discuss. And the mental and physical toll cancer treatment takes on both those diagnosed and those related to the person diagnosed can be very harsh and negative. But there is a company out there trying their best to transform the way cancer is treated. And that's where New York Stock Exchange American-listed Kairos Pharma comes in, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company that is transforming the way cancer is treated by using new technologies developed through structural biology to reverse key mechanisms of cancer drug resistance and immune suppression. But don't take it from me, here's Kairos Pharma CEO John Yu to discuss what Kairos Pharma is all about.
Kairos Pharma is focused on developing therapeutics to target drug resistance in cancers. So one of the most difficult challenges in cancer therapy is not that we don't have the drugs to treat cancer. We have a plethora of drugs that are very effective in treating cancer. The problem is that after 6 months to a year, the cancer develops resistance to these drugs so that the drugs no longer work. What Kairos Pharma has developed is an antibody that targets a protein that causes this resistance. And so cancer cells no longer are resistant to their cancer drugs, so the drugs can now work better and keep the patients from having cancers grow in their body.
Now, tackling cancer, it's a very big task to undertake, and one has to wonder, how does this all come together for a company? What spurred the formation of Kairos Pharma in order to address this issue?
Well, we're a small group, a virtual company essentially, of 3 investigators at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, which happens to be the #1 hospital in California based on the U.S. News report. But we're a small team of investigators. Neil Bomick is a biologist who identified the mechanism of cancer drug resistance. Then Ram Murali, our VP of Drug Development, identified the spot that the protein can make a difference. And I'm a clinician and help develop the clinical trials to test these therapies. And so together we're trying to move this forward. And what Neil identified is a protein called CD105 and an antibody that targets it so as to reverse the resistance in these patients. And you might ask, how does a company of 4 people compete with these large pharma companies of thousands of people? And the answer to that is that we're not competing with them. We're actually working with them. We're working with their drugs to make their drugs more effective when the cancers become resistant to it. So we're really a synergistic approach with other companies, making their drugs work better and longer.
So here's the big question. When it comes to Kairos Pharma, the product, the pipeline, clinical trials, the results, where does the company stand as of right now? And not only right now, for the near future as well. What does the future have in store for Kairos Pharma? For that answer, here's John Yu again.
So we're in a phase 2 clinical trial in prostate cancer and a phase 1 trial in non-small cell lung cancer. And we're planning on trials in head and neck cancers as well. This mechanism of drug resistance appears to be a universal mechanism that we can target with our antibodies. So it's a broad type of mechanism that we can use our therapy on. So there's many cancers that may potentially respond to this drug. And we're very excited about the future and being able to impact a lot of patients' lives and potentially give them hope. As a neurosurgeon myself, one of the most difficult parts of my job is giving the cancer patient the diagnosis of cancer. But much more difficult is when their cancers recur. And so our drug is really designed to impact this moment in their lives where the hope leaves their eyes. But with our drug, we believe that patients can be treated for a much longer period of time, cancer-free, so that it becomes a chronic disease rather than an acute one that takes their lives so quickly. So we're developing other drugs in the pipeline that expand the immune system, expand cancer-fighting T cells. Cancers are made of billions of cells, whereas T cells that we generate often are in the millions. And so we're trying to expand those T cells with a drug called Kairos 101, which expands T cells and allows them to kill the cancer cells so that we may have an even fight with our immune system against the cancer cells. We're very excited about expanding our clinical trials to other cancers and taking it further. We also developed a test with 3 genes that can predict those patients that will respond to our drug more effectively, allowing us to have a personalized impact on patients' lives so that we can really use the drug for patients who will be responding most to it.
And lastly, it's not every day you get the chance to interview the guest ringing the closing bell. Going public, a major milestone for any company, especially when it's right here at the New York Stock Exchange. So I had to ask John Yu, what is it like to be here at the New York Stock Exchange representing your listed company, Kairos Pharma?
We're feeling great about it. As I said, we were a small company, really working on NIH funding to make these dreams of ours grow. Now that we're in large clinical trials in prostate cancer and lung cancer, we do need more capital, and that's why we're accessing the capital markets and ringing the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange. With our IPO, we hope to finish these large trials and expand our other therapeutics so that we can have an impact in patients' lives.